Marlowe is now the second movie in a row where I can honestly say it might be one of the most boring movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not kidding. 2 movies in a row now that I'm thinking, can I do this anymore? Can I review movies on YouTube anymore when I have to sit through just complete pieces of garbage like this? And it's movies like this where you honestly have to ask yourself, has the director or has anyone in the filmmaking process for this movie ever seen a movie before? Do they know anything about how to make a movie engaging, exciting, fun, intriguing, memorizing, anything, at least watchable? I don't think so. After watching this movie, I find it very hard to believe that these people have ever seen a movie before. So the question is Marlowe worth a watch? Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, and I want to say thank you so much for being here today. I really do appreciate it. I need to vent about this movie, and you guys allow me to do that, so thank you. I was able to see Marlowe a few days early. I don't know if that's a perk or if that's a plus. You know, seeing a movie early, great! Oh boy, I would have done anything else with my time. But regardless, I saw Marlowe a few days early, and I'm here to give you my honest, no BS, non-spoiler review for you today and tell you if it's worth a watch. If you have, let me know your thoughts of the movie down in the comment section down below, and make sure you stick around to the end of the video so that you know my rating of the film, or else you might be going into a film that might not be right for you, and I'm just going to tell you guys right now. Heart to heart, if you guys enjoy watching movies, then this movie is not to be watched, because this movie has nothing in it that makes movies watchable. But let's get into it. So the movie is directed by Neil Jordan, and he has done such films as Mona Lisa, Interview with the Vampire, The Crying Game, The Brave One, quite a few films that actually have a very high critical reception. And it stars Liam Neeson, Jessica Lange, I've heard it being pronounced many times, in many different ways, so whatever the right way is, you know who I'm talking about. Danny Huston, Diane Kruger, and Alan Cumming. And the story takes place in 1930s Los Angeles, and Marlowe is a detective looking for a man whose lover believes that he has disappeared, but there also might be a conspiracy there. So Marlowe has to go find it. So when I saw the trailer for this movie, I saw 1930s Los Angeles. Now, if you guys play video games at all, I actually just beat Mafia, the definitive edition on PS4. It's a really fun game. It's basically Grand Theft Auto in the 1930s. But I love that aesthetic. I love the art deco of the 1930s. I love the Los Angeles detective kind of stuff. So it really caught my eye. And Liam Neeson movies, although some of them are not very good, some of them I think can be quite enjoyable. So I said to myself, you know what? I'll give it a shot. You never know. And I believe that every single movie has the opportunity to be good. However, this movie sucked. But the big sin of this movie is that it tries to be badass way too hard. It tries just so hard to be cool, and I really do believe this. I believe that the director and the writers knew that they had a very cool aesthetic to work with. They had a really cool time period. They had a really cool vibe for the movie, right? 1930s Los Angeles detective story. But the fact that they were making a movie in this time period, they thought they were just badass and they could do no wrong. Boy, does it fall flat on its face, because this script is terrible. But there's like little things in the movie that kind of give away its hand, right? So every character's smoking cigarettes. Every single character, every single scene, gotta smoke. Where are you, Marlowe? Why'd you lie to me, Marlowe? I'm cool. Characters use words like, trigger warning, I guess, beaners, wetbacks, talking about Mexicans, and I'm thinking, okay, sure, these words might have been used at the time a lot, but when you hear it again and again and again and again, you can just tell that the writers are like, yeah, we can get away with this. We're making a movie about the 1930s in Los Angeles. We're so cool. Like, you can see right through it. At least to me, it's like, okay, this is very obvious stuff. Everyone talks in metaphors. Everyone talks in empty platitudes. Everyone tries to do that boom, mic drop moment like this is the most epic thing I've ever said in my entire life. Every single line in the movie's like that. Diane Kruger is definitely guilty of this. Oh my god. But the worst! Alan Cumming's introduction. So when we meet his character, he's reading a book about grammar, like the subject is the verb and the noun and yada yada yada, all that stuff. And he's reading it to Marlowe, and then he threatens Marlowe, and he says, you know what, I'll drop you like a bad grammatical habit. First of all, it's a stupid line. Not funny, not cool, just stupid. But the worst part about that is that the script is full of grammatical errors. And it's like, this script was written by a frickin' 14-year-old who has never been to film school, doesn't know anything about writing scripts. It's just like, oh, I'm so cool, so badass. Because there's 3 moments where you're like, did anyone proofread this? Diane Kruger goes, I want you to begin at the beginning. You know, start at the beginning. That's what you're supposed to do, right? The beginning? Can you say beginning anymore? Begin at the beginning. And then start at the beginning right afterwards. And when I first heard that, I go, okay, it was just, a screw up. Let's keep going. 10 minutes later, a cop is talking to Liam Neeson, Marlowe, and he says, for all intents and purposes, twice in the same sentence. This is some like Last Airbender looking for food stuff. And then the final nail in the coffin was about 3/4 through the movie. I can't believe I even got through that. You hear Liam Neeson say, fair enough, 4 times in the span of maybe 20 seconds because somebody else is going, hey, she, Liam Neeson, gotta get the gun out, see? Fair enough. And get out of the house, we need him dead or alive. Fair enough. And make sure you don't waste any bullets because bullets cost money, see? Fair enough. Whatever the guy's saying, he's just like, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Like, is this a joke? Am I being punked? Like, I'm just baffled about how bad of a script this is. Like, no one proofread this and said, you know what, maybe saying fair enough 4 times in 20 seconds is a little stupid, but it's the 1930s, man. 1930s Los Angeles, gangsters, detectives, we are so cool. That seems to be like the band-aid over this entire movie. That's how this movie is held together. It is just so bafflingly awful. And I mean, one good thing about the movie is that there's cool production design, but that's just because the 1930s Los Angeles had cool production design, right? You know, the architecture, the Art Deco style, it's cool to look at. So the movie had that going for it, but it's not really the movie's creation to be praised here. By the way, if you like this video so far, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos just like this, hit subscribe. Thank you so much. On to this garbage. So yes, this movie thinks that it's a lot cooler than it actually is, but there's another cardinal sin, and I've talked about this in many bad movies. The pacing. The pacing of this movie is yet so slow and so fast at the exact same time. One scene early on in the movie, Marlowe, Liam Neeson's character, is trying to look around for some information. So he goes behind one of the buildings and one of the gardeners is like, hey, are you lost? No, I'm just looking around. And then another gardener's like, well, I think you're lost, buddy, right? Kind of those goons, get off my property kind of thing. Liam Neeson punches one of them in the face and then the scene's over. We don't actually see the fight scene. We don't actually know what happened. Next scene, he's talking about the information that he found. I'm thinking, what just happened? Did my screener just forget to put in a scene? Scenes have no breathing room. The editing is just so choppy. It is so all over the place. I'm thinking, why are these scenes that nothing's happening in go on forever? And then the scenes that something actually exciting happens, you get cut off midway through, or even before the cool thing's about to happen. It is just so shocking to me how someone can actually make a movie this boring, this poorly paced, and this just out of touch with reality. The story is boring, the characters suck, the action stinks. If you guys have seen Gangster Squad from 2013, that movie's not great by any means, but it's fun. It has energy, it has all of that production design and that unique vibe of the 1930s Los Angeles, but it's got a cast with some charisma. It's got some scenes of consequence. It's got a story with some heart, some motivation, some stakes. That movie looks like Citizen Kane next to this garbage. So yeah, my rating is a 1 out of 5. This movie is so bad, so terrible. I hated it. And this is 2 movies in a row now where I'm thinking, this year is off to a very, very bad start. Most years are. This year could be redeemed by the end of it, but right now it's not looking too good. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to watch more videos, then click the video at the end, and I'll see you guys there in the comment section.